If you are a school mum, you're listening to this, or even if you're a nursery mum or a newborn mum, making sure that you do have those vulnerable conversations with your mum and friends, because that builds trust.
Anyone listening to this in the depths of feeling very underconfident, you won't feel like this forever. Your body will change. You'll feel much more like you as time goes on.
I've always wanted to be a mum. I was just so excited. I didn't even think that Matt would struggle with postnatal depression, and we would then completely disconnect.
This is Dear Mum, the no judgement group chat every mum needs. I'm Charlie Barker, and today we are chatting to the amazing Chessie King. She is known online for her complete transparency and honesty about everything from body confidence to mum life and, more recently, relationships. Today we're going to dive into what actual mum life looks like for Chessie right now, and more into how her and her husband Matt navigated their relationship after having their baby. We're going to discuss the messy bits, the funny bits, and the emotional bits, and I really can't wait for you to listen to this conversation. But before we dive right in, please don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you find your podcasts. This is Dear Mum. Now's a great time to go and pop that cold tea back in the microwave, and let's dive in. Hi, Chessie. Thank you so much for joining me.
You are so welcome, Charlie.
It feels very strange to not have any kids around us.
Yeah.
We literally never have a full conversation.
I know, with ever. 4 of them running around us, yeah.
For like the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's all we've known, isn't
Every
it?
time I come home from seeing you, my husband's like, so how was she? I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not sure.
We catch up on voice notes, don't we? That's it.
That's it. Voice notes is the secret weapon to being a mum, I think. I never used to use them until I had kids, and it's like, how do you get by without them?
So true.
So before we get cracking, we need to know your mum stats. So how many kids, how old, and then one word to describe her.
Okay, so I have one. She's 4 years old, and I would say Aurelia is spicy.
Do you know what? I was going to say fiery, and I think in the best way possible.
In the best way, yeah.
She's amazing.
She's not a mild, calm, cruisy girl.
No, but she's not fiery in like a nightmare sense. She's fun. She knows her mind, and she's going to tell you it.
That's
it. I love that.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I'm also like, I do not want to dull that in any way.
No.
Like, I just can't wait to see. I just love seeing how she grows up. And she's not going to be a librarian. That's what my dad says.
She is not going to work in a library, that is for sure. And I actually have to say, my eldest, Alfie, has a lot of energy. But we were talking about it actually this morning, in that he's got such a zest for life. And so many times you think, oh God, too noisy, too this, too that. And it's like, I don't want to dull that at all. We just need to learn how to channel it.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not the best timing.
My mum also reminds me, like every time I used to call, I don't do it anymore because I think they're bored of hearing that she hasn't slept, that she's like thrown a tantrum in the middle of like the supermarket. But they go, don't be a hypocrite, Chess. That was you. She is a copy and paste of me when I was younger. I was the eldest girl, and then I had a brother and sister, like younger. And I did everything that she did. And we are basically the same.
It makes so much sense. Yeah. My mum always says to me, taste of your own medicine, Charlie.
Exactly.
So, as we were talking about the voice notes thing, I think the whole point of these conversations is to make sure that mums have that mum group chat, because we both have them. Mm-hmm. A lot of mums don't have a group of mums that they can go to with these conversations. And I have tons of these mini snippets of conversations in playgrounds, at playgroups and things like that. And I just think I wish everybody had access to a really supportive group of mums that just get it.
Yeah, that community is so important,
and I actually remember when you were pregnant with Ray, you saying, I've got loads of friends. And then actually when you had her, it was like, oh my God, I didn't realise how much I needed mum friends.
Yeah, it's so true, because I never want to divide my friends in between those that have children and get it and those that don't get it, because they
still can get it.
And like, I have some of the best days with my friends that don't have children, because I think they come with such a fresh, they're fresh.
They've slept.
Yeah, it was like fresh. Oh, fresh.
They're just fresh.
And they adore her, and I love seeing the people around me adore the child that I've literally. God,
isn't that the best thing? Your friends loving your kids.
That's it, and they make their own relationship, and But I do think even now, I mean, I've only just stepped into the school mum category, and Ray started reception in September, so I've now entered the group chat of school mums,
the actual group
chat. And it's funny, I think there's so much surface level conversation that I can't bear. I'm not very good at small talk. If someone asks me if I'm okay and I'm not okay, I will tell them the reason why I'm not okay.
That's very interesting because I think the school gate chat is quite
surface
small
level.
talky.
Yeah, it is.
And actually, sometimes I'm in there and how are you? How are you? Sometimes I'm in, drop them off, and I'm out because my brain doesn't have space for that.
But interestingly, parties I find, as in like their children's parties, which we have like four a day. I felt like you really like slowly break down that barrier. And I had some incredible conversations with mums on Saturday that you see a family, right? You see you with 3 children, you don't know, or someone from the outside who's never met you doesn't know what you've been through to get your 3 children. And I do, because I've known you, for 12 years. And it's been incredible. I just am in awe of you, Charlie, and we'll go into that.
No, we will not.
Yes, we will. I think having those times, if you are a school mum, you're listening to this, or even if you're a nursery mum or a newborn mum, making sure that you do have those vulnerable conversations with your mum friends, because that builds trust. And I think we can only connect with that raw, like, vulnerability.
And it helps you to find your people. Not every mum is going to be the mum for you. That everybody has different interests and different things that they like to talk about. But now that I'm in year 1 with my eldest, I know I actually love all the mums in my class, but there are certain mums that I gravitate towards in the playground because we're similar. We have similar interests and we've opened up to each other. So I think it is very important. And I want to ask you what the last thing is that you text your mum group chat, one of them. Was it superficial? Was it something quite emotional?
It was actually quite deep. It was this morning. It wasn't deep. I was saying it in a funny way, but I was like, how hilarious that for a year and a bit, I've not wanted my period to come. And this month is the only month that I'm like, I need to start now because I need, and they've obviously got to know me in the last, been how many months of?
Not many months.
Not many months. And I've been very open with them about where we're at, and we're starting IVF. And the only way I can start IVF medication is by coming on my period.
Come on, period.
So I'm like, every time I said to them, I was like, either of you on? Because I want to spend a day with you because, you can sync up.
Yes.
I was like, I just need someone to spend, someone on their period that I can spend a day with and they bring me on. So,
isn't that funny how mums are like that? I mean, your message was that. My message was, guys, is it PE today or not? So
I love that.
The mum chats are so useful for everything
good.
because today is the first day back after half term and I've lost my mind. I'm like, what day is it? What does he need? He's going to be the only kid that comes in the wrong clothes.
Everyone's thinking that.
And some days my group chat is very emotional. Some days it's literally surface level. So,
I love that. How many girls are in your group chat?
Well, the class one is all like 29
everyone,
parents. But then I've got a group chat of girls who are mums that went to uni with me. Then another group chat of my neighbours who are all mums. And that's probably the one that we chat to most.
Your neighbours, oh my God, you've got this incredible on your doorstep, haven't you? And I love that feeling.
They're
I feel
amazing.
like they've literally changed your life since when you moved from living in London.
I moved from London to this wonderful community and we all have kids around the same age. And luckily for me, most of them have a child in the year above. So,
nice.
They're doing everything just that year before me and it's amazing. It's so helpful.
You learn from them, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy how you make friends very quickly when you've got children because you're like, I'm latching onto you because I need someone to follow or help or whatever. So you've got Ray who is in reception and you've got an amazing career and you've got a husband who's got an amazing career and you're both self-employed. So what does a normal week sort of look like? How on earth do you juggle all of it?
I find it hilarious how different our weeks can be from week to week. And it's only when I speak to people that have jobs where they are on a time, like they have a routine, right? And they go into work, they sit at their office, they do their job, they come back, they switch off. Or there are mums, a lot of mums in the school year. I'm fascinated to know what they do. And it's amazing, like comparing, what I do compared to them. Honestly, we go day by day. Like on a Sunday night, we have like a little check-in with each other, Matt and I, and not like
a meeting.
Oh, how are you doing? It's more like, right, what's your week looking like? And when can you do drop off? When can you do pick up? And we kind of try and split it as evenly as possible. Not so that both of us feel like it's 50-50, but just to help each other out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can change on the morning. And I'm like, right, I've got to go. So can you do pick up or the other way around? Or sometimes we'll do both. But every week is so scrambled and we just make it work. It's so
Scrambled
weird.
is the word.
Yeah.
Scrambled is how I feel about my juggle, really.
Yeah. And it is exactly that. It is a juggle. And a lot of people assume that we have help, and we don't. My sister is probably the most help, and she'll have rain once a month, like even just for a few hours. But I think the help is Matt and I, and we've worked it out over the years. Like, I mean, she's 4. And it's only been in the last year that we've kind of like streamlined our communication and gone, right, this would really help me. Because I remember when she started Little Forest Folk, was like a forest school, and they were outside the entire time. And I remember I was doing all the drop-offs and pickups. And I just said to Matt, I was like, this doesn't make sense because I'm dropping her off. I'm sprinting to host an event or to do whatever. And then I'm coming back, picking her up when she's so muddy and then having to go back and do work. How does this make sense? And I was just very open with him. And it's taken a lot for us to be honest with each other.
And we were going to get into this a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think that's so refreshing to hear because I'm the same. I don't ask for help and then I get really cross when I don't get any help. And I think in the last year or so for me too, I've got so much better at being like, I need to do this. I need some help to do it. So I need X, Y, and Z. How can we make it work?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to be scrambling on your own when there's 2 of you.
And I do think my mum would always say, she had 3 of us. I know your mum had 4 of you. She always said, once she goes to school, you will feel so much more at peace with like your routine, your life, your everything. And you will find the mums that will help you out and you'll help them out.
Yeah.
And actually, I love having Aurelia's friends back for like a tea or whatever. Or I love taking them to the cinema together. And I love being able to like help the other mums. And I don't ask for their help, but they're offering
But you
it.
know that
like,
you've got that relationship
backup.
together.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll help you if you can help me when I need it. And it's so
Exactly.
nice. I've done the same a couple of times in the last few weeks. I've committed to an event in London at 10 o'clock, knowing that I absolutely cannot get there if I have to drop off at school. And I don't know why I've done it. I've done it 3 times recently. And I've in the morning called my neighbour thinking, oh my God, please, can you help me? And they're like, of course I can. But why have you done this again? I'm like, I need to learn because George, my husband, travels quite a lot. So for me,
does.
I'm the same as you with my career. He's got a much more normal, quote unquote, career job where he has a boss and he has a set stuff of work he's got to do every day. But on the weeks he's here, it's a certain way. On the weeks he's abroad, it's a certain way. And it's the same thing. Getting ourselves together, looking at our diaries and going, that's not going to work. Let's do it like this. You can do drop off, And it's so nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so I know that when he is in the country, I push loads of work for me. And when he's away, I pull back on it because I think, well, there's no backup. So I'm going to be the primary parent.
Yeah.
So it is that communication. And that leads us very nicely onto, you've been very open online, which I think has been so refreshing and brilliant for loads of people to see that you and Matt found the first part of being a parent really eye-opening and quite hard. And you've been very open about how you've come through it. I'd be so interested to know, what did you think it was going to be like? Did you and Matt ever have a conversation before you got pregnant, before you had Aurelia, about what it was going to be like to be parents?
I always thought it was just going to be this pastel-hued fairy tale, just everything would go so smoothly and we'd love it. And I've always wanted to be a mum. That's literally when people or adults would go, what do you want to be when you're older? And I was like, I just want to be a mum. Like that was everything I wanted. And I think my entire pregnancy and the first, I was just so excited. I didn't even think that 1, Matt would struggle with postnatal depression, and 2, that we would then completely disconnect. So yeah, I don't think I was just unrealistic, basically.
I think it's very common because
Yeah.
you have such an amazing image of being a parent. And I think, the media, films, all those things can play a part in it. But also, I don't know about you, but my parents have totally forgotten all the hardships. And so now that I'm going through like motherhood, my mum's like, oh yeah, I don't think you ever had struggles with teething. I'm like, Mum, of course I did. Oh, she's like, I don't think you ever woke up in the night. What are you talking about?
You were so perfect, Charlie.
I mean, guys, maybe I am just perfect, but I think you forget the
Yeah.
struggles and you remember the good things. So I don't think people really warned us about it. And I
That's
think
it.
what I would hate to have gone through pregnancy thinking, oh God, here we go. This is
Because
going to be
everyone's like, "Oh my God,
awful."
you're pregnant! That's amazing, and how
Exactly.
exciting!" And like, yeah, it's so strange as well looking back. And Matt's now very open. I think it changed from us being like housemates and like becoming unrecognizable versions of each other to each other, because I couldn't be myself around him. Like we were very much avoidant. We didn't have big chats for a long, long time. And it was only until we had this huge, like, emotional extravaganza of a conversation where he opened up and said, "I've read this article and it's the first time I've ever seen postnatal depression for fathers. And I think that's what I had, or that's what I'm going through." And
Wow.
I was like, oh my God. And it's something switched from I absolutely hate the place that we've got to, and we should divorce. Like this is the only like pathway for us is to be
To end it.
separated. And actually, when he turned around and said, "I've been struggling for this amount of time," it just switched to, I need to help this man who I said I would love in sickness and in health. And his, like, that was mental health. Like, he was genuinely, he was desperate for me to kind of see what he was going through. And that kind of was the switch. And it went from, he's not supporting me as a partner, he's not supporting Aurelia as a father, he's all of this, to then, oh my God, I need to help this man. And it really shifted things. I became so empathetic in what he was going through. And I couldn't understand at first, like, why are you not enjoying this? This is the best thing in the whole world. Yes, she doesn't sleep. Yes, she's sick all over us. Yes, she like has changed our entire lives. But how lucky are we? And I just loved not every second, that is a lie, but I loved the fact that she was here. I found it so truly difficult, and even harder because Matt wasn't in it with me. But it was like, I always say, it was like a Jenga tower, you know, like you build up all the Jenga blocks, someone pulls one and you're like a bit wobbly, then another one and you're a bit wobbly, and then it all comes crashing down. And we literally had to build again from scratch, that first block again. And I mean, that was 2.5, 3 years ago that we had that big crash. And we were like, I told everyone, I was like, we're splitting up, we're divorcing. Like, this is it. I went through all like the legal process, and actually like coming back to each other and stripping it all back down to the foundations of like, who were we before Aurelia arrived? That was the like changing point for us.
Because I actually notice now how much you feel like the most strong couple ever. Like, you feel like you've really worked from the ground up. And actually, I feel like, I hope nobody has to go to all the way to ground level, but building back up from the bottom is incredible, especially because you become a new version of yourself after you've had a baby.
Yeah.
And it's like you said with the Jenga tower, like putting plasters on things that feel a bit broken. Actually, you've built from the very bottom again. I think that's incredible. It's very brave to do that whilst you're sleep deprived, you're going through all sorts of things, having a new baby and everything. Thank God you did that. Thank God you spoke about it, because lots of people don't. I think communication is very hard to do.
It is scary.
It's easier to run. Because I remember Matt saying to me that he took up running, didn't he? And he was afraid that one day he would just run and just never come back. And he was like, I just was running and I didn't want to be with my own thoughts. It's terrifying. And I think it's amazing what he's doing, talking about it more, but amazing that you suddenly turned from being like, I don't have the support, to, I know I'm struggling, but he's struggling more and I need to help him.
And you saying that he's opened up to you about running, he said to me, and this, wow, I remember just the feeling that he said he's got diabetes, and he said there was one point where he was at his lowest and he went for a run and he carried on running and he checked his levels. And for us, anything around 7 is normal, our sugar levels. His sugar levels, anything below 4, he has to basically act quick or go to hospital. And he was around 2. And he said he contemplated just carrying on. And he said, no one will know.
Oh,
like, no one will know if, and he would have died. Like, he genuinely would have died. And that hurt me so much to think he was at that stage of his life where he went, I can't be here anymore. Like, I'm so beyond helping. And it was a real turning point. And now he speaks so openly about it. He's doing phenomenal things. And like you said, coming back to where he is now. He has rebranded himself. I am honestly, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that man and how he chose us as a family. He could have easily gone, it's not for me, fatherhood. And so many couples go through this where a man goes, actually, now I'm all right. I don't want a kid. I don't want anything to do with their childhood. He could have easily, I know he's not the man who would do that, the type of man, but he chose us. He chose getting better. He chose therapy. He chose all these things that actually just have completely revolutionized him in a way that I've never known before. Like, he's stronger than any man I know. He's incredible.
But you're downplaying your part in this. And I know you will, because that's the way you are. But he only did that because you helped him do that. So you gave him an open space to be able to talk about these things. And so I know you've spoken about it, but he came home from therapy, didn't he? And asked you what it's like to live with him.
Yeah.
How did that come out? What did you say?
My response, I was very shocked because we hadn't been talking at this point. And yeah, he did open up with that question. What is it like to live with me? And I just went, wow, like it's so weird because I wanted to respond like, I fucking hate it. But I took a breath and I was like, this is so brave of him to open this conversation up, because both of us had been burying it down. And I just went, well, we're unrecognizable versions of each other. We just tap in, tap out. We don't spend time with each other. We don't
pass the baby over and
That's
it's like,
it's like a
my
baton.
turn.
And actually, I'm hating it. I'm absolutely hating it. And he knows how much I want. He knew back then, and he's known for our entire decade of relationship. He's known that I want a big family, and he knew at that point. The biggest thing was when I said, I do not want another child with this version of you, and he just went, wow, like that really shook him, because he was like, I know that all you want is a big family. So that for me was like, God, I've got to change. I have to change, because if she doesn't want another child with me, then, and I just couldn't see a bigger family with him, because he was struggling so much with just one. I was like, how can you manage with two?
How are you going to do it?
Yeah. So yeah, it was a big step. And I will be forever grateful to his therapist, who was a woman who is a lot older, and just said, why don't you go back to your wife and ask this question? And I'm still, that was the break, like the changing point for us. That really was.
It's so powerful, that question. And I, on a much shallower level, I've gone home and been like, I wonder what it's like to live with me. And little things that I do at home that might really annoy George, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's things that if you leave them unsaid, they build up, more things get added, and then you end up being, like you said, a version of yourself that you don't really recognise. And I think it's such a good starting point for a conversation.
It really is. And it kind of led us on to things like, and we still talk about it now, things that he really enjoys doing around the house, or things he really enjoys with Aurelia, and things that I struggle with, and then like you said, vice versa. And it's funny, I knew that he really found bath time quite like intense. He said like the sounds were of the echo of the bathroom was overstimulating, and I'd never thought that. So for him to communicate that and me go, without even thinking like, I'll do bath time tonight, because I know that he enjoys doing bedtime. So it's little things like that. And I don't know if you've seen that trend where there's a couple, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a couple with children, but they've got little battery, the emojis,
Yes,
battery
I
emojis.
have.
And it's like, this person's 70%, this person's 30%. So you like almost transfer the energy, like you do plugging your phone in a wall. Like you pick that person up, and you're never both going to be like 100%. Well, maybe you will, like on your honeymoon.
In our old life.
Yeah, exactly.
Never again.
But maybe both of you would be 0%, and you both can't help each other, but you will start to like bring your batteries back, power back up. And I'm really aware of that concept of like, he's not going to love every single part of like, I mean, for me, he's obsessed with like cleaning and like wiping down the surfaces. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
I love
That's
that.
great.
You go do that, sweetheart. You carry on.
You clean for me.
You're very good at that, so carry on. But like when I cook, I make a hell of a mess, but I love like the whole process of like cooking and get everything. But I know that annoys him because stuff's everywhere. So I just say to him, look, this is how I do it. And this is how I do it after 10 years of being together. But I promise you I will clean it up after. It's more like, so it's just knowing each other's quirks, and they change. But it's being like, right, how can I help support this person? And
it's different every day, isn't it?
It's different every
day.
day.
I think we had that conversation recently where I was having a hard day. I think I was with all the kids all day, and George works in the garden office. So he came in and it was chaos, and I was clearly very stressed. And I said to him that night, I just sometimes need you to tap in. Yeah. And he said, yeah, just let me know. And I said, no, because I won't let you know, because I'm that kind of person. You would have seen that I needed your help. I need you to do that. And we're so much better at doing that now. And I know that on like a Sunday night, we've all eaten dinner together, and like downstairs is messy. They all need a bath. I say to him, do you want to do bath or do you want to do the kitchen? And he will always say kitchen. Wow. And I actually prefer that, because I hate tidying up the kitchen. I would much prefer to do bath time. And I know that he needs that time on his own to tidy up without the chaos of the kids. And I know that I like bath time because they're all in the bath.
Yeah.
They're still, and I can sit and chat to
fun,
them, and they're still.
Cute, yeah.
Exactly. So it's just knowing what each other likes, where each other needs to tap out for a second, and that's okay, and not being afraid to ask.
And that's so true on like the recognising. You start to recognise when they're at like zero capacity. And I find the kindest thing Matt could ever do, and the most supportive thing he ever does for me since becoming a parent, is looking at me and going, I'm going to take her for an hour. You do whatever you need to do.
So good.
And he doesn't say like, he always says on a Saturday morning, because he'll either go play golf or whatever. And actually, I don't have that grudge anymore. I used to be like, you're able to go off and do your workout or go for a run without having to think about your boobs or what time you need to be back or whatever. And actually now I'm like, because he goes, book yourself in for a class in the morning. Perfect. Or why don't you take yourself to the like park just for a walk with Hugo on your own? And that hour, God, it is the most powerful reset.
You come back
isn't
feeling
it?
like a new
okay, I can do it again. Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing, because I really struggle with feeling like I need to then owe him something. And it's like, he's 50% of the parenting in this house. Like, you don't need to do that. And that's not a him problem. That's a me problem. Yeah. If I'm leaving to go to the gym, I think, oh, but don't worry, I'm going to be really quick. And when I come back, I'll do this and that and owe it to you. And it's like, it's crazy. But if you can read each other and see when each other needs to tap out or do a different task or whatever, I think that's so powerful. Yeah. And so what things do you guys do now? I know you said you have a little chat on the weekend, on a Sunday night. Like, if you can sense things are getting a little tense, a little stressed, and you start to think, oh God, are we going back down a wobbly place? What kind of things do you always put in place that kind of bring you back up out of that?
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we do things maybe subconsciously now, but I really had to think of them at the beginning and think of like, what has Matt actually said to me? Like, I'm really, especially conversations like this, you are able to listen to each other, but within the chaos of life and kids shouting at you and mummy, 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 you can't sometimes listen and process it and it actually sink in. Whereas I've really tried, when Matt is opening up to me, I've got to listen and remember exactly what he says. So I almost have to like reflect on what he said and go, how does he need my help? Like, he's opened up to me a lot over the course of, since we had that big conversation, where he's gone, I feel myself dipping again. And it's normally in correlation when Ray's in a really difficult phase. And she's not sleeping, she's screaming, she doesn't want daddy, she just wants mummy. She's saying all these things. And we still have those stages. She's 4 years old, she's finding her own voice, she's doing everything a 4-year-old should be doing. But he does find some of that hard. So he'll say like, I'm dipping, I'm finding this hard. And then I just think, okay, well, I'll pick up a little bit more. And I'll also say to him like, yeah, I'm struggling with this, but let's talk about it. And
that's amazing to let him know that he's not doing anything wrong. And you're like, oh, what? I'm finding this so easy.
I love this. No, I love being screamed at.
Yeah, it's my favourite thing.
I love being headbutt. She's got this new thing where she pretends she's got a unicorn horn, but she'll like headbutt. And I'm like, that's not what unicorns do. And he definitely has his own coping strategies and mechanisms. And he has an incredible friend that I think every man should have a relationship like we do. Like, we are so lucky that we have with our best friends who are also mums. And Matt didn't really have that at the beginning. He didn't open up to any of his friends that had children, but now he does. And he's a little bit further ahead. He's got older children. So I think him just having a chat, I'm like, go see Lawrence. So have some time with Lawrence.
You're going to say Lawrence. Yeah. Such a good egg. I think it's so important, but I think a lot of men don't do that. George will come back from having a drink with his best friend and I go, oh, how's his wife? How's his daughter? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what
What do they talk
What did you talk
about?
about? He's like, football, I think. I'm not really sure.
Oh my God.
And so I think it's about being like, it's not a bad thing to open up about how you're feeling or ask them how they're feeling. If we dial back slightly, back to the very beginning of having Aurelia, you talk a lot online, and you have done even before kids, about body confidence and about, feeling the best way you can in whatever phase of life your body's in. How did you find your confidence in your relationship when your body was feeling so different to how you've ever known it? You get so used to your bump growing, and that's quite slow. And then suddenly overnight the bump doesn't go, but the bump's not hard anymore. Your body feels a certain way. You're not sleeping. There's liquids coming out of all sorts of places. Babies sick on you, poo, whatever. And suddenly you're like meant to try and work on your relationship at the same time. What was that experience like for you? Because I mean, I got some stories, but how did you navigate that when you weren't feeling like your relationship was like where you wanted it to be?
I really found it like, I actually found it hilarious. Like, I know, like, obviously part of me was like, what has happened? But I found it hilarious that I could just go like that and milk would just squirt out. I found it hilarious that, like, I was almost like, because I had a cesarean and they didn't put stitches in that just dissolved. They put like a fishing wire in that had to be pulled out. And I was like, how funny that I look like Frankenstein.
I actually remember coming to your house when Aurelia was so little, and Matt opened the door and was like, go upstairs, Chessie's on the bed. And you were just sat there, I think basically naked. And you were like, come in. And it's funny how suddenly you don't feel like your boobs are there to be a feeding machine. They're not there as like a sexual anything right now. And you were like, come on in. And I think George was like, oh, I think I'll just go downstairs and sit with Matt.
Was George there?
I think he walked up, and I think Matt was like, yeah, everyone go up.
That just shows that she was a summer baby. Like, you remember
so
with Alfie, when I remember you had him in a heat wave. And I was so boiling that I was just naked constantly.
And you're just like, I'm here to feed my baby, and that's why I'm here. Come and sit with me on the bed. And we just sat there. And
it was so nice.
Like, I remember also feeding Alfie, and George saying, there's builders that can see you in the garden, from the house across the road. And I'm like, lucky them if they're looking. Great, they get an eyeful. And I feel like they suddenly become just like, well, my baby needs milk, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're milkshake making, aren't you?
Exactly. And you're not really thinking about being your sexiest self. And it's why I always think, thank God I knew George for so long before we had kids, because we were not in the dating phase.
No.
I wasn't trying to impress him, but I think people who get pregnant very soon after meeting their partner, I think, oh my God, I would hate to imagine trying to be like good looking after I've had a baby, because I was not.
Absolutely not. And the fact that, like, I was reliant on Matt for the first 4 or 5 days of him scooping me out of bed and lowering me onto the toilet. He was like literally holding me whilst I was weeing. And I think that is so, that was just beautiful, but hilarious.
It's like humbling, really, isn't it? Because you think, I've got nothing else I can do right now.
Exactly.
This is what it is.
I'm feeding their child. I'm serving them, and I'm almost like, this is not the lowest, because I felt so empowered. I felt so strong, but I felt the weakest in my body I'd ever felt, because I was passing over basic responsibility, not responsibilities, but basic. What would you say, like
your basic needs?
Like, literally, I was handing them over, going, I can't do them, so you're going to have to.
Can you wee for me?
Yeah, can you wee for me?
It's crazy.
I think as well, having, like, he kept on saying to me, what the main word, like the buzzword of the year, the first year, was, I feel helpless. And I went, Matt, you are not helpless in any way. You might feel helpless with Aurelia because you don't have titties like me, but you can help me.
You do everything else.
Yeah, you can help me help her. So any parents, like, we've just had a friend that's just had a baby, and I said to the father, I said, you can help Alice in every single way possible. Like, anything you think she needs, you can get her. Yes, you can't help the baby, because if they're crying and they want their mummy, then fine, but you can try. But I think that whole I'm helpless is just so, I'm like, don't you dare.
Don't try.
Don't you dare.
I think George came into his own after he realised, like, oh, I'm like the feeding person. I need to make sure. He would come to me with water, be like, drink it. Like, he needs to keep me hydrated, keep me fed.
Gives them purpose, doesn't it?
Totally. Like, I'm going to take the baby, you go and have a shower. Like, he can do everything other than feed, right?
Yes.
There's no excuse for people to say they feel helpless
true.
to support a mum. There is, in fact, they are the most important person in that situation, because the mum is only focusing on the baby. So if no one's focusing on her, which is why doulas exist, right?
Yeah.
And
That's why I trained to be a doula.
Exactly. In our third newborn phase, we had a doula. And actually George was very like, why are you getting a doula when I'm here? He loved it because he was like, someone's actually looking after me, because I think they somehow get lost in the situation because me and the baby are the most important at that stage, whereas it's not true. He's very important, but physically he didn't need any support, but emotionally he probably did. And it was so nice for us both to be looked after. We thought for the third time we'd see if it was a nice addition, and it was obviously such a treat for us to have someone come and cook for us, which is why I say to friends who've had babies, give them food. Because if you can take one job away from the parents, cooking, amazing. And you know, our friend Steph, who had her friends come around and clean the house. I was like, what an incredible thing to give a friend, is the jobs that they need to keep doing but don't really want to.
And when people say, can I help? Being confident enough to go, well, actually, when you come round, you can come spend time with me and the baby, but we've got 10 piles of washing that you could actually put on. Like Tess after Clara, I just went round, I'm not being like, oh, I'm such a saint at all, but I was like, naturally, what does she need doing? And I would just hang all her baby grows up, like once they came out of the wash, and she said that helped more than like anyone coming around and just sitting and like trying to help her, being like, oh, what can I get for you? And she was
but
like,
I think
don't want to give
you don't need to ask.
Yeah.
You should actually just do, because what a mum wants to do more than anything is just hold their baby.
Exactly.
Unless they haven't had a shower and things like that. But people come over to hold the baby and then you just get handed them back when they need feeding or they've got a pooey nappy. And it's like, I really just want to cuddle my own child. So as much as it's nice to go and cuddle your friends' babies, go and bring them food, give them a cup of tea, like all those nice things. I think it's really important. But I actually think, circling back round to body confidence, I knew this was going to happen. We were going to go right off topic.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I think the body confidence issue comes sort of a bit later, doesn't it? Where
it does.
The adrenaline's worn off and you're no longer like, oh, I just had a baby, that's why I've still got a bump. But the bump can hang around a really long time.
It can.
And then people stop checking in because you're not like a brand new mum anymore. And suddenly it's like, oh gosh, this is it. And I remember about 12 weeks each time I was like, oh right, like this body's like still here, and you just got to get used to it. And it's not, obviously my business is helping women to feel confident by doing something about it. And it's not to mean to say you've got to change the size or anything, but it's learning to appreciate how strong you are and all those kind of things. But it's also okay to not love your mum bod, whereas a lot of the internet will tell you, oh, I can't believe you want to get back in your jeans. How awful that you're concentrating on that. And it's okay to want to do that.
It's okay both ways. And I actually, the big catalyst for me to start moving again was, and I remember it so clearly, I've got like this weird 360 profiterole vision. How do you say it? It's not provisional, peripheral.
Peripheral, thank you. But let's say profiterole, that's way better.
Peripheral vision, I can't say it. And I'm so aware, like Bronte, my sister, is like, she walks with blinkers like this, and I'm so aware of everything, right? And I had Aurelia, so you see every mum with the pram that's empty and the baby in the carrier.
In the pram,
yeah, exactly. Because you're like, oh, well, I thought the baby would lie in the pram, but actually it's just in the carrier. Ray was always that. She hated the pram. And she was always stuck to me. So I had this, I had something else in my hand. I think I had Hugo in my hand. And I was like so aware of what was going around me. And I was like, that looks dodgy over there. And I thought Aurelia was only, I don't know, like 16 weeks, right? And all I'd been doing was walks very, very slowly. I hadn't moved at all. And then I thought, if that man ran after me and tried to like steal Hugo, for example, Hugo's the dog, not another child, I wouldn't be able to run with the pram, the baby and the dog. So I thought, I need, for our own safety, I need to start getting my fitness back. And it's so strange how you just shift. Something shifts and you almost rewire exercise to it being survival mode.
Totally.
And like, how can I lift my baby? Like when they get older, how can I keep up with them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the older she gets, the faster she gets, the heavier she gets, the more energy I need. So I always, and I love the whole message of like, you look after yourself now for future you.
100%.
And I'm like, I am getting strong now so that I can carry on playing with Ray.
No, but exercising for your life in the phase that you're in is so important. So like, I think most mums now will exercise for energy that they need because they're so shattered and they need to be able to keep going through the day, and also to just feel healthy and fit and strong for your kids. I got pneumonia when I was pregnant the second time, and it scared the life out of me. And I couldn't carry Alfie up the stairs without having to sit down at the top, which is crazy. And it's just made me want to keep my heart healthy, my lungs healthy. And there is nothing to say that having an aesthetic goal is not a good thing. If you want to feel a different way about your body, I'm all for it, as long as it's done safely and healthily and all those kind of things. I think women shouldn't be made to feel that they're obsessed with themselves if they like going to the gym. And I think I've even found it hard to talk about some of the training I do online because I don't want people to think, oh my God, she's completely obsessed. Because I think it's turned 360 now on the internet, hasn't it? Where it's like 360, 180. It's just turn around. Whereas like if you exercise a lot, it's a bad thing. And actually,
you're looking after
it could be great. Yeah. And as long as you feel good in yourself and, wrapping it back round to the relationship side of things, if you don't feel good in yourself, it's not going to help your relationship, but you should be doing it for yourself rather than your relationship, which is such an important thing to fall into the trap. But it also goes the other way around. I'm saying to clients that I work with and things, maybe you could exercise together. Maybe it's a good thing to do, to get a babysitter, to go on a run together, to go to the gym, go on a walk together.
Yeah.
It's such a positive thing to be able to do. And it's okay not to feel confident in your body after having a baby, but you don't need to live with that.
So my main thing is, it's funny, I didn't get stretch marks on my bump, but my goodness, did they come for the thighs. And I still have them. And I think they're so cool because they obviously show that I've grown a baby. I remember feeling so self-conscious about them on our first holiday. And actually our first holiday was our honeymoon after we'd had Aurelia. It was like when she was a year. And I remember showing Matt and just saying like, how cool are these? But also like, that's so alien for me to like the texture and everything just changed. And it was only when I was chatting to him about it that he was like, there was not 1 ounce of judgment of like, oh God, look at those, which I think is like in my brain, it's kind of like written in my brain that boys at school found it gross that I had like big thighs, or because they'd all take the piss out of like my snail trail and my hairy arms. So it's weird to think like, oh God, no, your husband is looking at you going, you've just made me a baby. Like, how cool is that? So if you are feeling really self-conscious about any part of your body, especially with your husband, maybe like, I don't know, when you get naked or you're having sex, whatever, before that, you could say to him like, right, or them, sorry, not just him. You could say like, look at this, like this has really affected me or affecting me, but like, can we look at it together?
Can we talk about it? Yeah.
We have a chat about it, because then you'll realise like they don't care.
Yeah.
Like Matt was like, that's amazing. How cool. And then just kind of like left
Matt
it.
is a keeper. And I just think it's incredible. And also, the more you voice it, the less of a big thing it feels.
Yes.
And you're right. You've just made them a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier said than done, because if you're having a bit of a moment about how your body feels, then this feels very alien to you. But just remember it, because anyone listening to this in the like depths of feeling very underconfident, you won't feel like this forever. Your body will change. You'll feel much more like you as time goes on. But there might be still these marks that stick around. And they're just like a story written on your body, isn't it?
So true.
It's amazing. The woman's body is just incredible.
It is phenomenal.
It's mad. And
Ray looks at my cesarean scar, which is actually 4 years later, completely invisible. But you can see it, and she'll go, "Oh, Mummy, that's where I poked my head out." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is.
It's crazy.
More than just your head."
My middle one, Barney, thinks that all three of them were in my tummy together. Obviously, he knows that they're like all different ages.
They were in eggs.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. But he's like,
so
I probably lay in here and Alfie probably lay this way. And Darcy lays here. I'm like, gosh, I did not have you all in my tummy at the same time. But it's so nice. And I think when you look at it from your kid's point of view, I have this video of like my boys prodding my like wobbly tummy straight after Darcy was born. And I listened to the sound of it, and they're saying, wow, look at this. It's like, they thought it was amazing and magical. And I think everybody else does apart from you, don't they? And I think no one else judges you like you judge yourself.
Yeah.
So anyway, wrapping all the way back round to mum friends and being able to talk to people, and communication, I think, is the theme of this chat. It helps everything. If you were going to leave a post-it note on a mum's fridge, whether they're a new mum, a mum struggling with something, a mum who's got kids going to uni, anything, what do you think you would write them?
Oh, I'd have to go to the help element of our conversation, because we were chatting about this before, and everyone tells you to get help, right? And ask for help. And then when you do get the help, you may get judgment or some opinions from other people going, oh, well, she's got help. And actually, you need help, not just for your baby, for you, for the house. It can be any help. And saying yes to any offer that makes sense, and just sticking that post-it note just as a reminder, like, take the help. Just have
Say
that.
yes.
Say yes. And don't ever feel like you have to owe it back. Like, it's not tick for tack. Somebody just wants to help you. And I also think of the help as like, I'm going to have an extra pair of hands. I'm going to have someone there to talk to, and doing it with someone.
Yeah.
And that could just be the help. Like, don't worry, you don't need to do any of the nappy changes. You don't need to do any of the washing. Just having you there is a help, because I can speak to you about it. And it can be so lonely when you're not, when you're on your own in the house, even though you've got a baby and you're not technically alone. It can be so lonely. So just say yes to that help, whatever that help looks like.
Because everyone does want to help you.
Genuinely.
It's very hard to say yes to it. But when you do, you think, why didn't I do that before?
Yeah.
Oh, Chessie, I've loved chatting to you.
so
And we've had no children interrupting us.
Oh,
It
it's
feels
been
like we've actually had a
fantastic.
full conversation.
I know.
So thank you.
We should do this every week.
Chessie's going to be our regular guest, actually, guys, every week. Oh, thank you.
Oh, Charlie, thank you. And I'm so excited to listen to the rest of the episodes.
Me too.